Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Flowmaster American Thunder dual side or rear exit exhaust system fitting 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150s, excluding the Tremor models. If you found that your Coyote Power F-150 is lacking in the exhaust department, but you don't want to go angering your neighbors or your own eardrums, then this might be the system for you. It gives you that classic V8 rumble without going overboard, and it adds some visual interest too with the dual tips. Plus, it gives you some additional customization. Now, volume-wise, we're gonna give this one a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, so it is a noticeable change versus stock, but it's not super loud, so it will be well suited to a daily driven truck. When somebody mentions the name Flowmaster, I would be willing to bet that most of us enthusiasts can conjure up exactly the type of exhaust note this company is famous for. It's a burbly, deep, aggressive V8 rumble. And that is pretty much exactly what you're gonna get here. Now, as you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, this system does have some more volume to it, though it's not quite Wake the Neighbors loud, but it is a big difference over stock. It's just not quite so much that you're going to disrupt the whole neighborhood on cold mornings. Now, I think it really wakes up the sound of these trucks quite a bit. It makes them sound a bit more like a Mustang, just with a deeper tone overall. It's got a really, really nice noise that you get out of the pipes here, and I think it really suits the character of the F-150 and the Coyote V8 well. Now, that said, you are also gonna get quite a bit more volume inside of the cabin as well. However, as you heard, it's not overbearing. Certainly tolerable for a road trip or if you spend a lot of time in the cab of your truck. And that sound is due, of course, in no small part to this muffler here. Now, this is a catback system, so it's gonna replace your factory muffler and resonator, and instead, in their place, you get one of Flowmaster's DeltaFlow Super 40 series mufflers. Now, you can't see too much here because it is a single inlet dual out, but this is gonna provide you that deep, rich tone and keep things in check sound-wise inside of the cabin as well. But roll down the windows, and you'll get to hear that excellent growl out of the tailpipes. Now, the tailpipes do quite a bit to spruce up the aesthetics of the truck as well. Instead of the stock single side exit, you get two, and they feature these big, long 3.5-inch polished tips that exit out the back. Now, this is where we find something unique in this setup as well. You actually have two different options for where you'd like the exhaust to exit, either out the side, behind the rear wheels, kind of like so, or straight out back under the bumper. Now, switching it up is simply a matter of changing out the last two pieces of the exhaust before you get to the tips. And that's what these are right here. So these ones are gonna exit right out the back. These are gonna be if you want them to go out the side. So it's simply a matter of just switching them over. So if you start it one way and change your mind, you can just swap it over. Now, the side exit option is great if you're towing or hauling a lot. It's gonna keep that hot exhaust gas away from whatever you've got behind you, and you're not gonna risk burning your leg on the tailpipe when you go to hook or unhook the trailer. Or you can have, again, that classic dual exhaust look and have these come straight out underneath the rear bumper. It's nice to have the option, and it's something we don't see very often. Now, since you are adding the additional pipe on the driver's side too, it is worth mentioning that this kit does come with everything you need to make that happen, and it's gonna be a bolt-on installation that will keep your spare tire in place as well, but we'll talk more about that in a few moments. Construction here is all mandrel bent 409 grade stainless steel, so you get nice smooth exhaust flow with some decent protection against rust and corrosion. Now, the tips are the aforementioned 3.5-inch polished units, and these are made from T304 grade stainless with a dual wall construction. So everything here is pretty solid. It's not gonna be the best quality material, but you're also not paying for that best quality material either. And that is another benefit to this system. Pricing for this one is gonna run you about $975, and that puts it in the middle of the category. So it is a bit more expensive than some other offerings in the category, but the highlight here is that sound. So if you want that classic Flowmaster grumble, this is gonna be a great option for you. Plus, you've got the ability to switch up the tips and the look of it, and again, you're getting some pretty nice stuff here as well, and that cool Flowmaster muffler. As far as installation goes, we're gonna give this one the standard 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should expect it to take you about 2 hours to install. Now, depending on the cab and bed size of your truck, you might need to make a cut to this inlet pipe here, but it's really only gonna be one cut. Otherwise, everything is gonna bolt right onto the truck as you see it and as your exhaust comes off. So there are gonna be no other modifications necessary to the truck itself, just maybe a cut to this inlet pipe here. Now, you may want to spend a little extra time deciding how you want those pipes to exit, but if you do, that's on you. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty standard and the setup is gonna be essentially the same no matter which way you do it. But while you think on it, let's head over to the install bay and we'll show you how to get this one done.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, exhaust hanger remover tool, 10, 14, and 15 millimeter wrenches, an extension, 17 millimeter swivel socket, and 10, 13, 14, and 15 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing an exhaust on our F-150, so let's get started. So to remove our exhaust, we're gonna start up front. From the factory, these have two 13 millimeter bolts. However, our hardware has been replaced, so I'm gonna be using a 17 millimeter socket and 15 millimeter wrench to get our hardware off. So now we're starting on the flange right in front of our resonator. Like I said, the factory is a 13 millimeter bolt. Since ours was replaced, we've got a 17 millimeter socket and 15 millimeter wrench. Next, we can come back to the rubber isolator right in front of our muffler and take an exhaust hanger remover tool to pop that out. Next, we can come to the isolator at the back of our muffler. We have a 10 millimeter bolt that we can remove to make this hanger come off a little bit easier. So I'll take a 10 millimeter socket to pop that out. Now the last thing holding our exhaust on is this rearmost hanger. We have a 10 millimeter bolt in the bottom and the side. Now you're gonna wanna grab yourself a buddy to support the weight of the exhaust while you remove this, because that is the last thing that's holding this up. So now I've got a buddy at the front side of our exhaust. I'm gonna remove those last two bolts for this rearmost hanger, and then we can wiggle this out of place. And now with our exhaust removed, we can pop our two isolators off of those rods. So I've got an exhaust hanger remover tool to do that. Now the first thing we need to do before we install our new exhaust is to reinstall our two hangers. So we'll get these back up into position and install our 10 millimeter bolts and tighten those down with a 10 millimeter socket. So we'll start in the middle. We're gonna slide the solid tab into the square hole, and then we'll put our bolt through the other side. And then we'll grab our 10 millimeter socket and tighten that down. Now for our rear one, we'll raise this up and just reinstall those two bolts. And then we'll grab a 10 millimeter socket to tighten these down. Now next we can install our front pipe. An important thing to note is we have a front pipe and an extension pipe, and depending on your cab and bed size, you might need to cut your front pipe or your extension pipe. In our case, for the Super Crew with the 5.5 foot bed, we just need to use our full front pipe and we won't be using the extension pipe. So we can take our flange, we have a flat side that's going to be going towards the rear of the truck. So we'll slide that on. And now we can raise this up into place. Now in addition to our flange, we also have our hanger clamp installed onto our pipe. That's gonna be going in our first hanger. So we'll raise this up to our flange, get our rod installed into our hanger, and then we can go back up front and install our bolts. Now we can get our flange into place and reinstall our bolts. Now once again, ours have been replaced, but the factory will be a 13 millimeter bolt that'll just thread right in. Now for the factory hardware, you'd use a 13 millimeter socket, but since ours has been replaced, I've got a 17 millimeter socket and a 15 millimeter wrench. Next, we can take a 15 millimeter socket and tighten down our hanger clamp. Next, we can install our muffler. So we'll grab a 3-inch clamp and slide on our muffler inlet, and then slide that into place. And now we'll just straighten our muffler out and take a 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. Next, we can install our over axle pipes. So first we'll get two 2.5-inch clamps and slide over our muffler outlets. And then we can start with our passenger or our driver's side tailpipe. Next, we can slide our clamp into place and take a 15mm socket to tighten it down. Next, we can do that same thing with our passenger side over axle pipe. Next, we can come back to our clamp and tighten that down with a 15mm socket. So now we're on the driver's side here, right in front of our rear leaf spring mount. We have this circle hole right next to the triangle hole that we're gonna be installing our hanger through. So we have this long bolt and the square plate. We're gonna put our bolt through there, go over the frame rail, and slide it through that circle hole. And then we can grab our hanger. You wanna make sure to put your isolator on first so that you have enough room. And then we'll slide that onto our bolt and get a lock washer and flat washer onto our bolt. Now, before we tighten down our hanger, we're going to install our rod from our driver's side tailpipe into there first so that we have enough room with the spare tire. And then we can raise this up to our over axle pipe. Next, we can take another 2.5-inch clamp and slide onto our driver's side tailpipe and then raise that up into place. Now, once you have your pipe lined up, you can slide your clamp into place and take a 15mm socket to tighten it down. Now we can come back to our hanger and slide a 14mm wrench onto the bolt side and a 14mm socket on the nut side and tighten this down. Now at this point, you get to make a decision on how you want your exhaust to be set up. We have a 45-degree bend pipe that can go on there to have your tips coming out the side, or you can use this S-pipe and throw it on to have your tips come straight out the back. Now for our purposes, we're gonna be using this S-pipe to have it coming out the back. So now we can grab another one of our 2.5-inch clamps and slide that over the edge of our pipe and slide our pipe into place. And then we'll grab a 15mm socket to tighten down our clamp. So now we can install our tip on the end of our pipe, and then we can take a 10mm socket and wrench to tighten that down. And now you can repeat that same process on the other side.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Flowmaster American Thunder dual side and rear exit exhaust system, fitting 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150s, excluding trimmer models. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-150, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.